And welcome back to Epic Land Day 1. I'm Red Dane, and I'm here with my co-caster.
Molten, hello, what is up, guys? You might recognize me from the front row of DreamHack Valencia. Um, yeah, and we're here with the CVZ, our favorite race.
Yeah, I mean, Molt and I are both Protoss players, so we're obviously quite knowledgeable about. Oh, we don't want that. There we go. We're both knowledgeable about ZVZ,
Yeah, of
obviously.
course.
I'm gonna have to make sure that I figure out how to actually run the stream because
Uh-huh.
Bradley just dumped a whole bunch of information on me, and I'm like, I retained about 5% of that, so
Good.
we got it. All right, I think we're ready to go. If you're ready to jump into this knife fight in the phone booth.
Let's do it. It's AC against Frugs. It's 1-0 to AC at the moment, who is definitely the favored player in this matchup, but I think it could still go either way. Frugs is, at least in PvZ, quite an aggressive player. I don't know if he's the same in ZVZ or not.
I haven't really watched a lot of his ZVZs, at least not in the last 2 years since COVID started. So it'll be a bit of a surprise. I know he likes to be aggressive. He likes to multitask and do sort of unconventional builds. So we'll see to what extent he sticks with that in the ZVZ.
And here we are in the southwest of Hardwire, in the yellow, playing Zerg for Team Starcraft Improve. It's Aicy.
And in the top right-hand corner, his opponent, the ever cheesy, ever powerful Frugs.
Playing under the Imperial College London clan tag.
Yeah, that's an elite group.
It is an elite group of UK Starcraft players.
It's very, very prestigious if you get into Imperial College of Starcraft.
And of Starcraft. And Aicy's 12 pooling.
Yeah, so AC going to go for the more aggressive opening here. Hugo looks like he's just going to make a couple of drones and go for the expand at his natural. This is obviously could go either way. It really depends on how committed AC wants to be with this. It looks like he's also mining gas here, so really not bothering to go for an expansion of his own. So he's probably going to start speed straight away, get a Baneling Nest, and really put as much pressure as he possibly can. And it's going to be up to Hugo to not take as much damage as possible.
Yeah, it looks like AC's just going to fully send it here.
So in this kind of defense, I mean, I have played a little bit of ZVZs, and I have done this build myself, and I think it's basically a guarantee that Hugo is going to have to micro his drones. He's going to have to pull quite a few drones to defend this. He just won't have the Zerglings out in time to deal with this. He won't have the speed. He won't have Banelings. So it's all going to come down to that drone micro.
Yeah, I mean, surely it's massively favored for AC. Frugs in a lot of trouble. His pool is really, really late. The Lings are already on the way. And he's going to need to micro really well to not be behind, if not dead, after this start.
And really importantly, AC makes sure to send his Zerglings around the path that the Overlord would take. So he's got to thread the needle here, but it looks like Frug's Overlord will spot it. The second Overlord of Frug's does actually intercept it, so now he's going to know, and we'll have to see what he decides to do as a response to this. He's just made a third Overlord. His pool is just finishing, but he doesn't quite have enough to start his speed just yet, so he's going to have to make sure. He builds a spine in his mineral line
immediately.
immediately.
The spine is really good, because he doesn't know that it's a one base all. Oh, he does know actually it's the Overlord getting into natural, so he knows he needs to commit as much as he can to this defense, and 2 spines going up now even. Is he going to try and save his natural? I don't think he's going to be able to.
Yeah, I think because he knows that his opponent doesn't have a natural of his own, Frugs can be very, very careful with how he engages this. But actually, for now, he's got quite a fair few Zerglings of his own, but the Banelings are morphing in for AC. So this is going to ratchet up that pressure. One Baneling hit goes off, and he's in big trouble. So now Frugs putting his first queen on the ramp. As soon as the second one pops, he can put it up on the ramp as well, make a nice little wall there, and he's starting to bring the Spine Crawler down as well.
Do you think the Spine Crawler ever gets to the low ground here, or is he just going to keep it? Wow, the Banelings explode on basically nothing there.
Yeah, I think this has been going really well.
Well.
Yeah, this is really nice for him. And to answer your question, I actually think he can leapfrog these spines. He can just sort of barely let them out. So yeah, he burrows one at the top, and then it looks like this is well within Frugs' comfort zone.
Yeah, I think this game's super over unless AC can somehow get the hatch at least, but the spines are burrowing, and this could be a disaster for the yellow Zerg.
Yeah, nice little bit of micro there from Frugs to split off the Zerglings, and actually he hasn't even lost the hatchery yet.
And a transfuse goes down on the hatch. He is going to be able to keep that alive. I think it's getting very close, so another transfuse goes down. And now the spines are in position.
And at this point, you're going to be feeling pretty confident if you are Frugs. I think even if he loses this base,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world for him. He is going to lose this, but now he's got 3 queens, whereas his opponent has no hatchery and only 1 queen of his own. I mean, he does have Zergling speed, but there are 2 spines here. And actually, this natural is going to get started. And you notice that Hugo has 5 more drones than
That's
AC.
huge at this point. It's almost a 33%.
I think this is the kind of
Economic
build
lead.
that is actually incredible. You know, we talk about all-ins, but this is an all-in. This is
Oh,
very
yeah.
early in the game. It is completely committed, and so that's why AC knows he needs to continue to keep the pressure on here, because if he lets this base get up and then you get the double injects going, he still doesn't have a natural of his own. So he's deciding to instead continue to all in. So there's no transition here for AC. He's going to just continue. He does, just as I say that, he does pop his natural down, but he still needs to equalize the economy in some way.
There's just no way that AC's going to be able to get back into this game. Surely the drone lead of Frugs has been giving him so many minerals in the last minute and a half. We see that in his bank. He can definitely afford some tech, and there it is. The roach one goes down. AC not going to have anything to combat that for a while.
So it looks like Hugo's just going to completely forego getting the Zergling speed, instead just going straight into roaches, have as many of those as possible, because he knows if he gets a couple of roaches down, at least maybe 4 or 5 roaches, then he's going to be able to just stabilize and not really lose anything else, no matter how many Banelings, no matter how many Zerglings there are.
Yeah, and Frugs is pretty free to drone up here. He knows that he's not really under too much threat with 2 spine crawlers and 4 queens at the front. Ling does get in, and we'll see that roach one finishing and a lair start up. That's a little something for AC at least.
Yeah, he does get at least he does at least get to look into the face of the man who will kill him, but unfortunately, I don't think that he's going to be in a great position. So his natural just finishing up now, and he doesn't even have a second queen. So he didn't bother making another queen to send that down. So he's only going to have 1 queen's worth of injects right now, which means that Frugs is going to have an exploding economy. And we can see the triple evolution chamber at the front, just bunkering down the hatches. He knows the kind of position he's in. He's going to have more workers, and he's going to have more gas, and so he's going to be able to hit a nice roach timing here off of 2 base. I think he's probably going to go for a 1-1 roach timing, and it's just going to be really hard for AC to have anything that can compete with that, at least in the short term.
Yeah, there is +1 missile starting up, and hopefully we'll see the carapace alongside that and roach speed as soon as his lair finishes up. And you'd think a push of speed roaches would be impossible for AC to hold if Frugs can execute it well from here.
And AC trying to claw his way back in the game a little bit by going for a faster third than Frug. So if, hypothetically, AC manages to hold on to this third for the next 2 minutes of the game, then he potentially could have an equal economy, because Frugs, instead of going for the third base, he's just going to bunker down on 2 bases, and that creates a little bit of confusion, I think, because it's plausible that he is, in fact, going for mutas rather than a roach push. So there's a little bit of ambiguity there from Frugs' build, and he is a tricky player, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see AC drop down a couple of spores, but he can't really afford to do all that much.
Yeah, so we see AC getting the lair now, +1 starting up for him as well. He's going to slowly be able to catch up in tech and upgrades, but Frugs is going to have a lead here and is now taking his 3rd hatch, and Burrow starts up. What do we think of that?
Yeah, going for Burrow and then going for, well, he's going to get roach speed, but it'll be really interesting to see if he goes for tunneling claws as well, so that he can actually move them around and do the multi-prong aggression into AC's base. So AC's got roaches of his own now, and as we say, he's actually not doing as bad as we thought he might. I think we might be seeing a little bit of a difference there in terms of the overall macro power of each player. AC's got the faster third now, and the longer this game goes on, the better I fancy his chances. Now, this attack from Frugs is going to be very scary. He's going to have Burrow. He's going to be able to micro with that Burrow to keep his roaches alive. He's got quite a few roaches. Still no Ling speed, so he's not going to be able to reinforce it all that quickly. But AC does have more workers. He does have the faster third now, but the roaches are now hitting at the third of AC.
Yeah, and with the upgrades finishing up for Frugs, he does need to be careful here. There's a lot more roaches for AC.
Yeah, somehow AC has managed to squeak out more roaches. So even though Frugs has the faster upgrades, he doesn't actually have the bigger army at the moment. I mean,
we can see the problem for Frugs. He's not spending his money. He's got 800 minerals in the bank. He should never have that much 8 minutes into the game.
And it's not even though it's not even as though he's supply blocked. He's got a lot of supply to work with. I don't know if he's saving it for a rainy day or if he's maybe just a little bit tilted right now in terms of making a decision about what he wants to spend his money on.
We do see that tunneling clause, and there is a big roach swell which will supply block Frogs this time.
And looks like Frugs is going to be splitting his roaches on multiple sides of the map. I really like this. He knows that he's seen the size of Aicy's army. Aicy knows that he just needs to defend that third to maintain his economic dominance. He's now 10 workers ahead. And actually, I think we are eating our words here as Frugs does have a relatively even upgrades now. I think he does have +1 Carapace and Tunneling Claws instead. But Aicy does have the economic advantage here.
Yeah, Aicy's just showing his superior macro. He was down quite considerably at the start of this game, but now he is looking to be in a really powerful position with that 10 worker lead. The Burrow and Tunneling Claws could make the difference, though.
Yeah, with nice little multitasking. If AC skips out on detection, if he doesn't bother making overseers, then yeah, so we see like a little hit squad here of the 5 burrowed brooches are going to come into the third of AC. And this is perfect because as Frugs is doing this, AC is just moving out with his main army. But the crucial thing here for Frugs, as we've seen time and time again, when you're going for this harassment, you're sending your units all over the map, you're committing a significant number of resources across the map. You need to make sure that you don't die at home. But I think AC is just going to try and defend this, actually.
Yeah, and AC saw the crystals on the roach's back, which means they have tunneling claws. So he immediately morphs in some overseers, but the roaches are in the main and the natural now, and Frugs is getting some economic damage here.
Yeah, so this is kind of what he needs to do to equalize it. We see there's still a massive worker gap, so Frugs needs to kill 10 workers here to be even on workers. But so far, the roaches in the main are doing a good job of just picking these apart. So gradually, the supplies are starting to come a little bit closer.
Yeah, the roaches in the main do a lot there, and they're now being F2'd out of there. That is
oh no, that's
not what
the
Frugs
disaster.
wants to see.
Yeah, it looks like Frugs just wants to get his whole army together, so he F2s everything together, but that means that the harass in the main is going to stop.
He has 2 upgrade lead here. He has 2-1 against just a +1 of AC, and now with the concave, is Frugs taking potentially the game-winning fight. The army supply is looking good, but can his reinforcements get across the map in time?
Yeah, maybe this is the power of F2. He takes a perfect timing where he actually has a 2 upgrade advantage, and I think that was the perfect time for him. Really nice game sense there from Frugs.
The army supply looks good, but it's a defender's advantage that makes such a big difference here. A lot of those roaches injured on both sides as well. I'd like to see Frugs continue the pressure. He's taken a nice supply lead off this, but his economy is still pretty bad. He's almost all in himself now, off of 3 bases, and I think if he kept pushing, that he can win this game.
Yeah, and if only he knew about the 4th coming down of AC, that would be quite a vulnerable spot to defend, especially if he split off his burrowed roaches again. I'd love to see him continue with that. You know, it's one thing to do that move when you first get the upgrade, but it's another thing to just continue to use that throughout the game. And I would love to see Frugs just sort of continue to use that to pressure.
Yeah, I really don't like that Frugs is going back into drones now. I think if he just fully sent it there, he had 105 army supply against 70 with an upgrade lead. I think if he just kept his foot on the pedal, there's no way AC could have held. But he is coming forward now, and this is going to be a tough hold for AC.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit annoying. You can see AC seems to be quite on point with his bios, so he is getting quite a lot of damage done, but there is just such a massive army disadvantage for AC here, and there's a nice concave being set up for Frugs, and now he's got that really nice position. Yeah, he can start to pressure in the natural as well.
Yeah, blocking off that gap between the natural and the third, meaning the army of AC can't really meet up. And these bios are looking for some godly hits. Oh, but he bios himself, and now the bios of Frugs raining down as well, and AC is in a trap here, and I don't think he can escape. His roaches are trapped in the middle of Frugs, and Frugs is going to take game number 2. GG.
Yeah, absolutely.
There it is.
That was really brilliant, the movement in the end there from Frugs. I think we were questioning him with our non-Zerg ignorance there, but Frugs is up on the clouds, realizing exactly what he needs to do to win that game. I think I'm safe in saying, I'm not very confident in saying much about ZVZ, but I think I'm confident in saying that it was probably a closer game than it should have been, given how the opening went.
Yeah, I think Frugs' macro definitely was slipping that game. We saw a lot in the bank. We saw AC get back into it despite that horrific start he had, to be honest. He went all in off 1 base there. He needed to get critical damage done. And he killed the hatch, but that was about it. And it sets us up well for game number 3 between these two, because we can clearly see that this can go either way. I'm interested to see, do you think AC is going to 12 pool again? Surely not after that, right?
Yeah, I think that Frugs demonstrated there that he really knows how to deal with the 12 pool efficiently in a way that puts him ahead. So I think AC is going to be double checking. Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable about ZVZ map choices, so I don't know if maybe that was a map specific thing in terms of the rush distance or anything like that, but I suspect that that was probably a one-off from him.
Mm.
If you get slapped in the face doing something.
Yeah, I think AC should realize that that game was closer than it should have been, and that his macro is better than Frugs' macro. And we're going to Curious Minds for map number 3, a small map, but in CVC everything's small because that creep spread so damn fast.
Creep
Dane.
spread,
So damn
super fast
fast.
Zerglings. All those Zerg units are just so good.
It must be nice.
I was playing some Terran and Zerg recently, and I gotta say,
Uh-huh.
it is really nice to have units that that trade evenly a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, we can only dream.
All right, looks like we're gonna go into game 3. So the score is 1-1 if you're just joining us between Frugs and Aicy. Aicy generally the favorite in this one, but Frugs is showing that he can go toe to toe.
So how's AC doing in the group? I think AC's won all of his games yet. He hasn't played Zane. He's beaten some guy called Molten 2-1, and a couple of other guys in the group. So AC's doing really well. He will definitely make it into Code S. Frogs, on the other hand, I think it is still possible for Frogs to make Code S. Actually, I'm not sure. I think Frogs would need to win this and his last game, and hope Volticus loses to Physielf and Molten loses to Roscoe and Physielf, I think, for Frogs to make it. But I do think it is still technically possible. There's a lot of maths went into that.
If the stars align,
Yeah.
anything is possible.
But I mean, this will be a great win for Frogs in and of itself, whatever happens with the group.
Yeah, Frugs is one of those
Be a good
players
achievement for him.
who has the potential to go way above his weight in terms of
Mhm.
MMR. It's one thing that I've noticed. You know, you might see him. He's not the most consistent. You might see him lose to someone who he probably shouldn't lose to, but then he'll win against people that he probably shouldn't win against. All right, here we are, game number 2.
In the southeast, in the pink trunks, playing Zerg for the Imperial College London, it's Frugs.
And his opponent in the top
Oh.
left-hand corner, it is Aicy.
And it's Frugs 12 pooling this time. Hello.
My, how the turn has tabled.
Tabled, indeed.
But
Now, are we going to see a drone pool? One time for the boys. Fully send it.
So this is a different variation than what AC was doing in the last game, right? He hasn't gone for the gas, so that means that he's not going to be going for the follow-up pressure as well. It's just going to be 12 pool, try and get a cancel on the natural of AC while getting a natural up of his own to put himself in a slightly advantageous position. Whereas with, I think, AC in that last one, it's really hard to get that done when all the pressure is on you to actually end the game within a 30-second window. It can be really, really stressful. So Frugs is a little bit less committed with this. I like this more. I think this is going to give us a slightly better game. Although, as I say that, we're getting a gas. It's late. It's a later variation.
That's a very odd gas timing, no? Before
Yeah.
the hatch.
So he is still going to go for the natural. So it's not, again, it still isn't as committed as what we saw out of AC, but I think we're going to see a little bit of a hybrid. He still does need to get his speed at some point.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to segue into a speedling all-in a couple minutes' time. We'll have
Only
to find out.
God knows.
Well, Frugs might know as well.
Frugs may know, but he also may not know,
He may not know this is true. He might just be freestyling.
which is the most fun way to play StarCraft, I think, is to just make it up as you go along.
Seems dangerous.
I mean, it's a strategy game, but you don't have to have a strategy.
True.
Have you ever watched Hero play?
Yes. I watched him last week.
I don't think he has any strategies.
He has so much strategy, it's beyond our understanding of strategy. Is AC going to put his drones here? Yes, he is. How many drones is that? That's 10 drones. That's actually a lot.
Yeah, I think you need to have an overwhelming number because you can't just start trading with the Zerglings. And you know that you're going to be ahead as long as you hold this, but it's so tedious here. And then we do see a little bit of a drone stack. But nice micro so far from Frugs. Doesn't lose too many of his Zerglings. One of the Zerglings of Aicy does get picked off. But now I think that Aicy has the Zerglings of his own. It looks like things are going to be kind of stable. All he needs to do is pull a few more of those drones.
Still building lings. He's sending it here. He's only building lings.
I think this may have been a freestyle call from Frugs to realize that, you know what, we didn't get that down. If we play from this position, we're probably in big trouble. Like, Aicy's got 7 more workers than him. He's got the natural up. The natural is now finished with the queen for Frugs, so it's not like he's completely all in, but you notice he doesn't have a queen in the main.
And Aicy's building drones. Aicy could be in a lot of trouble here. He is going to see the lings come out all at once with the Overlord here.
And Frugs is going to go for the little harassment to get that out of the way. But as this speed does finish up, so Frugs' speed is going to be faster, and that's why we see him go for that gas right before he took his natural. He wants to have that advantage.
Denying the wall off by picking off the drone. The drone still can't get the evolution chamber down. And now the rest of the lings are here. Can he get the wall off? I don't think he can.
Yeah, this is really nice from Frugs. He realizes the timing, and then he just barely manages to squeak it out. The Zergling's coming in. The speed isn't even done yet for Frugs, but he realizes how crucial it is for him to take this fight. And the drones are going down.
Both queens fall.
Both queens down with the Zergling still alive from Frugs.
Speed's going to finish in 10 seconds. That means Frugs' reinforcements are going to get here quickly. It's 20 army supply to 8. I think Aicy's in a world of trouble here. He can afford to lose a few more drones. But
so these Zerglings have one mission, right? To just keep that wall open. Do not die. Do not keep that. Do not allow that door to be closed.
There they are. That's a lot of lings. Aicy's in so much trouble. His lings are surrounded. GG. Frugs wins.
Beautiful.
Wow, what
beautiful.
An upset.
What a decision making from Frugs there. I think there is a world where I think he gets that hatch down with the Zerglings in the first place, and then he doesn't even bother making the extra links, right? He just goes, right, cool, macro game, I'm at a bit of an advantage. But then he realizes, no, flip the switch. We're not doing that. He's got a later speed than me. I'm just going to go all in and make a bunch of Zerglings. And really, really nice from him.
And that really opens up Group B now, because Frugs, Aicy, Volticus, and Molten have all lost a game, a series, which, according to the seeding, they shouldn't have lost. So now there's a big battle between those 4 players for the 3rd and 4th spot.
And that's what we like to see. Nice upsets, a little bit of movement around in the brackets. And I got to say, I actually did enjoy that ZVZ. It was nice to see the prepared build from Frugs paying off for him. So this is the thing that I mean is, on paper, you wouldn't think that Frugs would be taking too many games off Aicy, but in this case, 2-1.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we'll take a little bit of a break, and then we'll be back with some more exciting StarCraft pretty soon. Don't go anywhere.
Sounds good.